Okay, today I'm going to look at the OlightH2R Nova. This is a newer angled headlight by Olight. And the Nova, I think, indicates that it does put out a lot more power. It's got the Cree XHP50, and so it is now rated for 2300 lumens, which is a lot of light. Now, Olight obviously is one of the better brands, so you don't get the grade inflation that you do with some of the no-name brands. But I still check. I have a light meter. In my basement, I have kind of a standard setup. I bounce it off of a white ceiling, and then I graph it against the competition. So at least on here, what you see is the Olight comes in here over the trend line, which actually says that it's putting out more light than it claims compared to the competition. It's obviously not calibrated, so I don't know whether that's above or below 2300 lumens. I'd probably guess it's still below, but it has less of a grade inflation than some of the other competition have. So in terms of light settings, 5 levels. If you press and hold the switch, you get your moonlight, probably like a couple lumens there. Barely can see it. Then you go to 2, 3, 4. That is about 600 lumens. And then if you really want to light things up, you go to 2300 lumens, which you get with a double click. And if you get your hand about 1.5 inches away, it gets pretty warm pretty fast. Okay. And then, of course, you press it in again and it turns off. The heat buildup is a little bit of an issue. As you can see, there's not a lot of thinning. The thinning is kind of shallow, but if you're out in cold weather, it should cool it off, or if there's some airflow, if you're walking or something, that should help keep it cool enough. Otherwise, I've noticed that within about 5-10 minutes, you definitely will notice the light will start to ramp down. I think indoors it was about 4.5 minutes or so, because obviously it's just heating up. In terms of overall size, this is a protected 18650, so you can see it is a little bit bigger, but not too much. It also has onboard charging, as some of the other Olight flashlights do. Through this little USB dongle. Charging speed's kind of slow, but overnight is certainly, I found, more than adequate to get to a full charge. Now, the onboard charging is a little bit of a mixed blessing, because in order to have that, you have to have a proprietary Olight battery, which has this extra little contact, the negative contact, so that allows you to use the tail cap with this. Now, the reason why I say it's a mixed blessing, obviously it's a little bit bigger, and although you can use a regular protected 18650, when you're using the Olight, let's see if you can read that. It says, do not short circuit. The center contact is recessed, but don't forget, it's magnetic. You throw this in your pocket with a handful of, I don't know, nails, keys, some other metal things. It is possible, very, very possible, I would think, that something could short circuit that, which would not be good. Fortunately, they did anodize. These are anodized threads, so if you unscrew by half a turn, that effectively locks it out. You can throw this in a bag and not have to worry about it at that point. So I guess that's kind of the workaround, because I tend to unscrew them anyways if I'm going to be traveling with this somewhere that it could get turned on accidentally. Okay, the headlamp strap is where I would be using this the most. The real advantage of this, with this optic and everything, is you get a really broad beam, and I find when I'm working in the garage in a lot of places, I would just as soon have the headlight on than look into dark corners and have to try to go grab a flashlight. So I usually will have this in my pocket anyways. It has a magnet in here, but that's not really that strong. Obviously, you're going to want to put this strap around. The light on the end is probably not the most ergonomic thing, because when you press that to turn it on, this does kind of wobble, and if you push on it hard enough, as you can see, it just ends up sliding. Not that big a deal. I guess I probably would have preferred having it on the side for that reason, but I do find that when I'm holding it, it is easier to hit the button on the top than it is try to get to the one on the sides. Just as a comparison though, this is a Skilhunt H03. This has been a bit of my go-to light before the OlightH, but it does have the side button, and it does have, let's see if you can see that, much deeper heatsink fins, although this only goes to 900 lumens. So big difference. Obviously, the H2R Nova at 2300 lumens just blows the Skilhunt away. There's just no comparison. There's no onboard charging on the Skilhunt, but as you can see, probably about 10 millimeters shorter, which is I don't know, about not quite a half an inch. So it is a little bit of an advantage, and it does even have a little lanyard hole there, which means you could wear this around your neck, or at least you'd have a wrist strap, let's say, under some situations. So overall, a very handy flashlight, unbelievable amount of power. Like I said, the light puts out so much heat, so much power, that at about 1.5 inches, your hand is going to get uncomfortably warm, and it just lights up a room. So any questions or comments, let me know. Big thanks to Skybend for providing the light, and I'll put a link to their store on Amazon. Thanks.